Alright, so in this video we're going to kind of look at an overview of PHP as a programming language. Not so much focusing on PHP 7, but just as a language in general. Alright, so what is PHP? It's a loosely typed server-side scripting language for web development, for building web applications. Alright, it can also be used as a general programming language. It can be used as functional, or you can use it in an object-oriented way. It can be embedded directly in HTML using some PHP tags, and it's also interpreted at runtime. What that means is that it doesn't have to be compiled like, let's say, Java or some of the other high-level languages. Okay, it's interpreted at runtime. So here's some quick history. It was created by a guy named Rasmus Lerdoff in 1994, and the PHP actually used to stand for a personal homepage, but now stands for PHP Hypertext Preprocessor, which is a recursive backronym. And PHP 7 is the latest version at this time, which is April of 2016. So who uses PHP? There are millions and millions of websites and applications that use PHP, but some of the big ones are Facebook, Yahoo, Wikipedia, WordPress.com, Twitter, Pinterest, and just a ton of others. So let's take a look at some of the advantages of using PHP. So for one, it's free and open source, which is always good. It's cross-platform, so it can run on Windows, Linux, or Mac. It's a server-side framework, which in general makes it pretty fast and secure. It's very widely used, and because of that, there's a ton of support and forums and information, articles, just endless information on PHP. The complexity of it is hidden, it's high performance, and it works very well with many different databases. Alright, so those are just some of the many advantages of PHP. So here is a very simple example of the syntax. So this would be in a .php file, and you can see we have our open tags here. Whoops, we have our open tag, we have a comment which is represented with the /. There's other ways of having comments too, which I'll go over later in the course. And here we're setting a variable called title. Variables have to have a $sign at the beginning, and this is set to a string of hello world. Okay, lines also have to end with a semicolon. Down here we actually have some HTML. We have an h1 tag, and inside here we're echoing out the title that we set up here. Okay, so very simple. So the requirements for PHP, basically you just need some kind of web server. Apache is definitely the most popular and is usually what's recommended, but it can run on other types of servers as well. As far as an operating system, usually Linux is used, at least in my own experience, and I would definitely suggest Linux. But of course you can run it on Windows, you can run it on Mac. But if you're just doing testing, or you just want a dev server and you want to use something like AMPS or XAMPP, which is what we'll be using, then your operating system doesn't really matter. Okay, for instance, we'll be using Windows along with AMPS, which gives us a local Apache server. But if you're talking about production, at least for myself, I prefer Linux. Now, a database is definitely not required for you to run PHP, but for most of the types of applications that PHP is used for, they usually have some kind of database. Okay, you need to have some kind of data source, unless maybe you're using some kind of third-party API or something like that. Alright, so databases. So PHP is compatible with a lot of different databases, both relational and NoSQL. Of course, it's usually used with relational though. So we have MySQL, which is, I would say, the most popular, Postgres, Microsoft SQL, Oracle, SQLite, Sybase, Firebird, and the list goes on. Okay, so works very well with databases. So some of the PHP programming concepts that we'll be going over throughout the course: variables, arrays. PHP also uses what's called an associative array, which is kind of like a key value pairs. functions, conditionals, operators, comparison, object-oriented programming, which of course includes classes, objects. We also have interfaces. We can inherit classes, and then we have loops, for loops, while loops, do while, and for each loops, which are used for arrays. All right, so just some of the core fundamental programming concepts. So in PHP we have different types of data, different data types. We have strings, integers, floats, booleans, which is true or false, arrays, objects, null, and resource data types. Okay, so that's just a very brief introduction to PHP. In the next video I'm going to show you how we can get PHP up and running using amps in a Windows machine.